Da, last that is gone, sinking that last behind. Welcome! It's season 3 of Outlander. Oh shit, it is not season 3. Holy hell. It's episode 3, season 6. My god! Ugh, I had a moment of insanity. My name is Jordan. This is the Urban Outlander. Thanks so much for stopping by. So let's break down just a little bit of Temperance. Temperance, episode 3. I had to look up the word for temperance because I couldn't remember. Is that a word anybody uses anymore? No, it's not. It's abstaining from alcohol. It's that old-timey word. I also forgot to mention the new theme song for this season. I think I like it. It's fine. I like it better than last season, but sometimes I'm just like, can we keep it to what it originally was? Because that's what everybody identifies with. Why do we gotta change it every season? If they went to like somewhere in Eastern Europe or something, it would be like the polka Outlander theme song. And it's like, I don't need it to change like wherever they're living that season. Let's just keep it this one original theme song. The original singer, and that's it. Moving on. We're only 3 episodes in, and I'm feeling like this is a little bit like season 1. It's like thoughtful pacing, thoughtful character development. I'm getting like major season 1 vibes. Kind of liking it. There's a lot of, you know, seeds being planted because clearly shit's gonna blow up, both literally and figuratively. Diana Gabaldon says she loves this season. It's her favorite since season 1, and I imagine it's probably because they use a bunch of stuff from her book, a bunch of lines and scenes, and, you know, what author wouldn't love to see all of that? I wouldn't know. I haven't read this season's book because I hated last season's book. It was terrible. Drums of Autumn is horrible. And I'm sorry if you love that book, but good lord, I couldn't bring myself to read the book on which season 6 is based. I just couldn't do it. Opening scene. A reminder for me, yet again, that I will not stay in the 18th century. I'm gonna have my little tumble with Jamie in the hay in the barn. We'll do that. I'll go back in time for that. But I ain't staying to chop wood and then save babies that are floating down the river because the local boys seem to think, oh, well, let's go see if it floats because it seems to be afflicted by some devilry. I have no time for that. I gotta go. I'm gonna go back to the 21st century. I keep my hot water in my mugs. By the way, Roger was giving me major Father Bain season 1 vibes in that opening scene. I mean, granted, I would probably do the same and rain hellfire and brimstone on these kids if it was me as well. I don't blame him, but I was like totally getting that, especially when we were following into this whole Roger becoming a minister thing. Tom Christie. Let's break it all down. Today, men don't ask for directions. In 18th century, Tom Christie doesn't take the ether and doesn't drink enough when he goes into surgery. And he doesn't like books. He calls himself an educated man, and he thinks like books have fanciful lies and imaginary beings. And I'm like, what kind of like a stupid educated man are you? By the way, I did have to look up this Tom Jones book. Not very up to date on my 18th century novels. And according to Goodreads.com, there is body exuberance in it. Body, B-A-W-D-Y. And if there's anybody that needs body exuberance, give it to Tom Christie. And I love how Claire's trying to like check up on him in the evening, and he seems to think that she wants to seduce him. No, baby. When you're getting bedded by the king of men on a regular basis, you don't even need to blink at another man. And you sitting there pathetically, vulnerably in your little nightgown with your bum hand, quoting phrases, lines from the Bible. Oh, no. I'll keep my robe on, thank you. No. I don't need help. I'm good. You stay there. And all the men in Outlander's history who were suspicious of Claire, condemned Claire, everybody wanted to bang her. Father Bain, he wanted her. Season 2, Lecomte, he really wanted Claire. Season 3, that Harvard professor when Frank and her go and meet the head of his department for the first time when they arrive in Boston, and he's being like the most patriarchal jerk around. He really wanted Claire. Everybody just wants to have sex with Claire, even when they call her a witch. This is just fact. And do you think Claire would have really fixed Tom's hand if she knew that all he wanted it for was to beat Malva with it? Malva, episode 3, Temperance. She's getting all like frisky. She's like a cat, like slinking around young Ian, like meow. And I'm wondering, like, what is going on in her 16-year-old brain, 18th century brain? Ooh, young Ian, you're different from the others. You're a fearsome hunter. Your head is shaved. And you can't even call yourself a Christian. Ah, she is just like all over it. Like, really going for it, right? She's gonna be the worst person this season, or maybe one of the worst people this season. That girl is hiking up her skirt in a few different ways. Fergus and Marsali. This is the first episode ever that we get a lot of Fergus. A lot of Fergus time. There's a lot of heartache. There's just a lot that we explore with Fergus this episode. And I really hope that after all of this, we can move on. Because in the greatest hits of Fergus's adult life, this is how I remember it. We meet adult Fergus. He comes to the colonies, he marries Marsali, and then he becomes an alcoholic. And there's a lot of kids in between. So I'm really looking forward to a little more from Fergus. It was almost like the writers like forgot about him, or maybe Diana Gabaldon forgot about him for a while. And then they're like, oh, we gotta create some conflict. He drinks too much. We had some really nice moments between him and Claire and Jamie. By the way, the amount of blood that was on Fergus's shirt in that scene with his Jamie was a little bit too much. It was a little bit over the top. I mean, I know this is a very serious topic, but I was like, oh, this is a little extreme. Given the shot that we just saw of him cutting his arm and then cutting to this like blood that's all over the place, I'm like, all right, well, this is when sometimes Outlander teeters a little bit into melodrama. A storm is coming. It's almost here. And if somebody says that one more time, I'm gonna have to time travel and punch somebody in the face. They've been saying this, beating this drum since season 2. There's always something coming. There's always a war. It's always a war. And it's always coming. And it's almost here. Can we call it something else? Like, I got nothing. Let me know what your thoughts were. How are you digging the theme song? Are we into the male and the female voice like coming together? How are we feeling about Christie's and Fergus and Malva just sort of slinking around, right? Also, it really feels like Roger and Brianna are like sidelined a little bit. But she's also playing with matches and building spindle wheels. I'm sure something interesting will happen with Roger and Brianna, right? Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Check out my website with all the blogging. Thank you so much for being here. It's The Urban Outlander. I look forward to having another chat about the next episode of season 6 of Outlander. I'm just kidding, there's nothing in here. It's a prop. Oh, God. Oh, boy. Until next weekend. Thanks for coming.